and welcome to Your Hometown Solutions. I'm your host, Jean Newell with Waterview Realty. And thank you for joining us today, where experts meet to discuss your home, family, finances, garden, and garage. Boy, we covered all. We should add pets to that today, because in the studios with me today is the director of the Brevard, I was going to say Brevard County, but it's the Brevard Humane Society. Is that correct? And
yes.
We have Teresa Clifton. Thank you, Teresa, for joining us. We go way back. We were just discussing that years ago when I had a product that I invented. I donated them to the Humane Society because they're called the PUP, the Personal Utility Pouch, and it has a little paw on it, and it's a wearable bag that you wear around your waist and so forth. Comes in handy when you're walking the dogs. Little did I know I was going to do a commercial about my product. But the point was, we used to like to, when I donate or something, we'd challenge the other small businesses out there to get involved with the Humane Society. So what I would like you to start off with, Teresa Clifton, is let's go ahead and give out your contact information and the location of the Humane Society for Brevard County.
All righty. The Brevard Humane Society is located at 1020 Cox Road in Cocoa, and we've been there since 1952, so we are celebrating our 65th anniversary this year. Also, you can contact us by phone, which is 321-636-3343, or you can find us on the website at www.brevardhumanesociety.org.
Wow, that one site, that one location covers all 72 miles of Brevard County, correct?
Absolutely. Since the day we were incorporated in August of 1952, we have been serving the homeless animals in our community, from Mims to Grant, Valkyria, and everywhere in between, helping them find their homes when they're lost and finding new homes when they have none to begin with.
You know, there's a lot of misconceptions, and I'd like to clear that up today. What's the difference between the Humane Society and the Brevard County Animal Control?
Well, the biggest difference is that the Humane Society was created by the community, at that time in 1952, the circuit court judge, the city of Cocoa mayor, and all of the movers and shakers, which really were Orange Grove real estate and lumber mill owners. They were unfortunately, the Space Center didn't exist yet, and the port was just a little sleepy fishing village. So these were the movers and shakers of that time. So we were set up as a private nonprofit and left to our own doings to take care of the animals. And the county shelters came along later. As the population grew, the need for more help, came out, and so the county now spends about $4 million a year on the county shelter on O'Galley Boulevard. There's also one up on Flake Road, but I believe they have closed that. And the sheriff runs the county animal services now. They do a great job with getting the bad guys who are abusing animals. We love that. And they have cleaned up the county shelters a bit, but that is the biggest difference, that they are fully funded, and we start off with zero each year and have to work for it to get every penny to take care of the animals.
So that $4 million you're talking about goes to the actual Brevard County Animal Control, and you have to find grants and donations to do the Humane Society.
Absolutely.
So you see the trucks out there, those panel trucks with a little bit of airflow. That's when somebody reports, hey, there's a dog walking through my neighborhood. They call Animal Control. Animal Control comes out and picks them up and takes them to the animal control location, but they never really bring them to you, or do they in some cases?
No, they take them to the Brevard County Animal Services location on O'Galley Boulevard off of I-95 in Melbourne, and they are processed there or up in Titusville off Lake Road. And once they're processed, meaning that if they are lost, that no one claims them after 5 days, then we do try and help them by taking animals from them so that they aren't overburdened with too many animals in their location. So we do help them in that regard, but they don't bring animals to us. We take animals from them.
And I know you're a non-kill shelter. And
we are it's called a no-kill for space, technically, because we do euthanize animals that come to us that are physically hurting or terminally ill or mentally I'll say deranged or mentally unhappy, and there is no rescue group that could safely handle them. We don't believe animals should be kept in a cage until they die. So God gave us the ability to help animals not suffer. And I believe last year in 2016, our live release rate was 97%. So we are very happy about that. And I know also that the county shelters strive for that. So we try and help them in that regard by taking as many from them as we can.
Well, one thing we could point out right now is if you do have an animal, the best thing to do is get a collar for it and get a tag. Or if you haven't done that, how about a chip in the ear? You want to make sure if your animal does get out accidentally, whatever the reason is, someone has a way to find you and return your animal to you, because you don't want them to have to spend any time at I always call it the animal jail. Yeah. But that's the county one. Because, that's just not the way we should be doing this. So take the responsibility, pet owners, and get that pet chipped. By the way, do they check for, see if I can say this, do they check for chips when they bring in the animals?
Yes, actually, nowadays, microchips are pretty universal, as are the scanners. So if you find an animal and you bring it to our shelter or any shelter, they have a universal scanner that they will check for a microchip. And the microchip is no bigger than a grain of salt, a sand, and it can move around sometimes but it's just under a few layers of skin, and the animal doesn't even notice it. So most of the time when we check and we find one, we can call the owner right away and they can come and reclaim their pet right away. Unfortunately, with the collars and the tags, it seems like the minute that your cat or dog gets out, they take it off and throw it away because they say, well, my dog had a collar. And we're like, well, it came to us without one. But the microchip is in there. Permanent. Even after a pet passes away, it is permanently, you can still read it. So it is a permanent marker of your pet, especially if you have one of those highly desirable pets and somebody were to
confiscate it.
Yeah, I want to say steal, but that's not kind. So, yes, if they were to claim it for their own, this is the one sure way that you can identify it. And it's very inexpensive. If you bring your pet to our facility, we will microchip it for $25, and it's registered for life. You don't have to pay anything else or do anything else, unless, of course, you change your contact number. And then they charge you a minimal fee to change that on the records. But it is a permanent way to know for sure that it's your pet and you don't have to do anything else to prove it. And someone else can't be taken off with your beloved pet.
I know, and you hear that all the time where someone has their pet went missing 10 years ago, and all of a sudden the pet they're calling them. Who knows how many hands it's gone through, and it's like 500, 1,000 miles away from home, and they take it to a vet, and the vet scans it, and they return it back to the. I was kind of laughing when you were talking about the universal scanner. I'm picturing people with their pets going to Publix. I'm going to scan my dog and see if it registers with the Publix scanner. But I don't think that would pick it up. But maybe
I don't know.
They've got all those new technology. I guess at some point in time we can aim our smartphone at the pet's ear, and the chip will come up on our smartphone, and we can read everything. Who knows? Well, that's kind of the information we'd like to get out there. Also, I think there's a misconception of what the National Humane Society does and what our local Humane Society does. Let's explore that as far as the differences.
Okay. I'll say the actual shelter environment is operated by a private nonprofit that has to come up with their funds all on their own, such as the Brevard Humane Society. We do have membership with the Humane Society of the United States. They really were created to be a legislative arm for animals. They speak for animals in front of legislatures, like a political action group, and they have improved the living conditions and the laws of animals that that are abused in prevention significantly over the years. They are about 55 or 6 years old now, so they're a little younger than we are. But the Humane Society of the United States does not have an animal shelter where they care for animals per se.
But they'll get involved with the puppy mills and so forth and closing those down and so forth. Or is there another government entity that does that?
Absolutely. They do what is now termed rescue work in regards to animals that are in strife conditions. They have to do it undercover because you have to prove the issue of what you're doing, because animals are property. It's not against the law to breed your cat or dog over and over and over again, but it is against the law to have them in such a tight little container that they can't stand up, move around, or that they're living in feces, or they're not being fed well, or they don't have clean water or a roof over their head. So the Humane Society of the United States does, on a national level, go after those that are in dogfighting rings, that are doing puppy mill work. Also, under natural disaster conditions, they go out and rescue animals and take them to a local animal shelter to take care of them.
Mm-hmm. I remember Oprah Winfrey had a show a few years back about puppy mills and so forth, and they brought in they're kind of like the police, or they're kind of
Yes,
coming undercover,
yes.
and some of these poor female dogs have been in a cage that they don't even know how, because the bottom is made out of like chicken wire or something, that they don't even know how to stand and walk. It's just a shame, and we're so pleased and happy to know that there's someone out there fighting for our critters. But locally here's what I was going to point out is we get touched by many of these commercials that you see on the various channels, especially at night. You're sitting there and you're all of a sudden they got the touched by an angel music or something. And it's like, I can't I've got to turn down the volume because I'll be crying and until it's over with. But they really touch your heart. But it's for donations for the Humane Society of the United States. Mm-hmm. And it's $15 a month or whatever, which is fine and dandy. But a lot of people don't realize that you do not get a penny out of that. So if they really want to help our animals here in our county, you want to donate to your local Humane Society. And give, while we're talking about that, where could they go to donate, Teresa?
Absolutely. If you really want to help an animal, you should keep it local, because the money that is donated to the Humane Society, about 92 cents out of every dollar directly benefits an animal in our shelter. And that can be done on our website, brevardhumanesociety.com or .org. And also, we have a Facebook page for Brevard Humane Society, or you could just come out and visit us at the shelter at 1020 Cox Road in Cocoa. We also have an adoption center on Merritt Island. It's 155 Pioneer Road, and we'd love to have people come out, even if they were dropping off, old blankets or towels or, a donation check. The animals always love to see people, and the more interaction they have with humans, the better pets they make for whoever does adopt them.
Exactly. Now, do you also still have volunteers that come out and walk the dogs during the day to get them a little socialized and so forth, that like you used to have?
Absolutely. We work, we have over 2,000 volunteer hours every month helping. The volunteers come out and walk the dogs, pet the cats. They clean, sweep, they greet people. Sometimes of the volunteers that are in our kennel know more about the animals than I do. They've spent so much time with them. We, of course, have to generate income on our own. So we definitely rely heavily on volunteers. We have a skeleton crew that is paid to take care of the animals every day. And it's just never enough. So we always need volunteers. So if you're out there listening and you're 16 years of age or older and you're looking to do something, we are open 7 days a week and would love to have you come out to walk dogs or any of whatever your talents are. I have no doubt we could use them to help us.
I think that'd be a good project for some of the different clubs for the high schools, the civic groups and so forth. That would be a wonderful. You've been listening to Teresa Clifton, Executive Director of the Brevard Humane Society. I'm Jean Newell, your host with Waterview Realty, and we're talking about animals, and we're talking about pets, and all the different things that we need to know. Today is the February the 27th, and tomorrow is National Spay Day. Talk a little bit about that, Teresa. What exactly what does that involve? I think a lot of people don't even know the difference between spay and neuter. Let's even explain that.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And we are very excited about Spay Day. That is in recognition of our zero population growth. As most people are aware, there are too many animals in the United States that are killed, that are healthy and adoptable, but there's just too many of them. And the only way to break that chain is to spay or neuter your pet. So if your child wants to see the miracle of birth, of life coming, they can always go to their local shelter because there's always a pregnant something in there that they can witness the miracle of birth. So the Spay Day was created basically to bring awareness and in the hopes that people would take their pet, their cat or their dog in and have it spayed or neutered. And of course, if you have a female cat or dog, it is called a spay. And if you have a male cat or dog, it is called a neuter. And the males have it a lot easier because theirs is just a little snip. But the girls have a little surgery. It's like women do when we have a hysterectomy, right. And it's permanent and it doesn't harm them. Actually, it bonds the animal-human relationship much closer when they are spayed or neutered because the pet no longer has that instinctual drive to mate, to procreate. Mm-hmm. And you also don't hear a lot of the cat wallowing and the dogs running off because they no longer have that drive in them. And it also is healthy in many beneficial ways for the animal because they avoid getting certain cancers that they would be susceptible to had they remained intact.
Exactly. I think there's a size and a weight when they get spay. Is it spayed or spay? How do you do the past tense? I don't know. Anyway, spay. I have a friend who had puppies, and she had to wait till they were 2 pounds before they could be spayed because they were tiny. They're going to be tiny adults anyway.
Yes.
Didn't know if you happen to know that off the top. But I always wonder about these little chihuahuas. How do they operate on them? Tiny little tools.
Well, an owned pet, most of the spay or neuter procedures require that the animal be at least 2 pounds and 4 to 6 months old. An animal from a shelter, obviously you want to get it out of the shelter as quickly as possible. So they have to be 2 pounds or 2 months old. Cats, on an average, grow 1 pound a month from birth until they're an adult. And the same with puppies, dogs, with the exception, of course, of the tiny teacup breeds. And those, they want to give them a good 6 months under their belt so that they are stabilized and ready for that surgery.
Let's talk about the spay center that you have. So there's no reason why you can't get your dog spay or neutered. Talk about that.
Absolutely.
That new community or a new location.
Yes, in honor of Spay Day, we are doing free cat spay or neuters at our clinic on Cox Road. You have to call in and get it scheduled because, of course, our veterinarian would go insane if she had like them out the door. But
here's a litter of kittens, 12 of them. Would you spay them all right now?
Yeah, and we do have money, grant money from the spay neuter tag that the state of Florida has put out. It was a $25,000 grant, and we are offering free spay neuters to cats whether they are free roaming community cats or feral, or if they live in underprivileged homes and it's simply not done because they can't afford it. We are more than happy to line them up and spay or neuter them so that there aren't more brought out. And the facility you were talking about that we opened on Merritt Island is an additional adoption center so that the overflow that comes into our facility and the county facilities, that we have room for them to have a place to go, because usually space is the issue because so many come to us and we can only handle so many. I think we can handle up to 200, but on a daily basis we are full. So the county has to take in all of the overflow, and they want to be a no-kill as well, and we want our whole county to be a no-kill. So that's what our goal is, and Spay Day is a wonderful way to make that happen, because the more that are spayed or neutered, the less are born into a community that has no room for them.
Exactly. And so what was the cost again? It's free, and some cases are very low cost if it's not Spay Day.
Yes, if it weren't for the grant, or if you had a dog, the cost is about a third of what it would cost at your local vet's office, because we're lining them up and doing them, and the assumption is that your pet is healthy. Mm-hmm. So you could get a cat neutered for $35, or your cat spayed for $50, and the dogs, though they go by a weight, but it could be as little as $50 to get your dog spayed or neutered. And these are very important things to consider if you want your pet to live a long time. I witnessed a golden retriever, beautiful dog. It was 5 years old. The people never had him neutered because they thought he would make great puppies. Well, unfortunately, he contracted testicular cancer. And they brought him to us to have him euthanized in our chapel because he was suffering. He was dying from testicular cancer, and it could have been avoided if he would have had that surgery.
I know, and we're finding out that our pets are catching a lot of our human quote unquote diseases. And I'm wondering, it's because we're giving them scraps of some of the things we're eating that's not good for us, and they're picking up some of these things from refined sugars and processed foods. On these, back to the feral cats, though, my understanding is you catch a wild cat, you bring it, which is a feral cat, right? Mm-hmm. You bring them in, you decide as a neighbor, I'm going to have this cat spayed, because I forgot what the mathematical thing is, but like one cat over a period of like a year with their offsprings and everything else, figuring half the litter would be females, that there could be like 69 cats all from one cat, as far as it might even be more than that. I don't know if you know those figures.
Yeah, I have been quoted as saying statistically what I saw online was, if you take a female cat, her mate, and all their offspring, because female cats do not have a monthly cycle. Right. They can ovulate at will, and they can have up to 8 or 10 in a litter. Right. And if only half of them are female, they also do not have a family set up, so they can all mate together. Over the period of 9 years, you can create over 11 million cats.
Oh, my word.
Statistically, it does blow your mind.
Oh, my word. 11 million. And now, when you have a feral cat and they spay them, so just so you know that you're not picking up another one, don't they clip their ear or something and make a little mark on their ear so you know that cat's already been done?
Yes. We ear tip. It is the top triangle out of the upper corner of the ear of one of the ears that we ear tip, so that even from a distance, if you saw a cat and it was missing that little triangle at the top corner, you would know that cat had been spayed or neutered, mm-hmm. which is wonderful because it means it's not creating anymore.
Exactly. So that's, I know I have a friend in Tennessee that picks up feral cats, and she's bringing them to the Humane Society up there. We do have a lot of listeners all over the United States. So again, we've given you a lot of information that's been Brevard County focused, but Go see your local shelter no matter where you live. Get involved with the Humane Society no matter what county, what city, what state you live in. Support the national, but support your local Humane Society because they're probably all set up very similar to yours. Is that correct? That you're looking for community involvement. Let's talk about some of your fundraiser. You have an event coming up in March, not too far off in the distant future. Is that the Pause on Catwalk? Is that what it is? Pause on the Catwalk.
Yes,
probably.
The Pause on the Catwalk. It is a fashion show fundraiser at the Melbourne Auditorium. It's from 10 to 4 on Saturday, March 18th. And we have some community celebrities who will be modeling.
I was going to say the cats are not going to be dressed up modeling the catwalk, right? It's human beings that'll be modeling. They'll be taking a cat with them down the runway. Is that the idea?
Actually, it's funny that we call it catwalk because we have the dogs that are up for adoption are modeling in the show with the models. And so we have a fabulous lunch. And then we do the walk, the catwalk, and all of the models are out collecting, raising money, and we will crown the king or queen of the catwalk of who raises the most money for the Humane Society.
What are ticket prices for that?
The tickets are $30 a piece, and we do have some sponsorship and table sponsorships available. You can go again to brevardhumanesociety.org and pull it up. Yeah, it intermingles. If you go to .com, it takes you to .org. So, but all of that sponsorship information and everything is there. You can get your tickets online there. You can donate money to any one of the models. They have their modeling pictures up there, and they just have a really great time doing it. And it's a really great fundraiser for the animals. And we get animals adopted there sometimes too. So we're excited about that.
All right. And the other thing is your thrift shops. That's another fundraiser that you have that helps support the Humane Society here locally. How many locations do you have now?
We now have 5 locations. Since we serve animals from Mims to Palm Bay and Grant, we now have a thrift shop in Titusville, and we have one in Merritt Island and one in Rockledge and one in downtown Melbourne, and now we have one in Palm Bay on Palm Bay Road.
They can get those those addresses off of the website at brevardhumanesociety.org or .com.
Yes.
Either one.
Both of them.
Sounds good. So if you've got some furniture, what do you accept? I know you accept furniture and household goods and things. What else do you accept?
We take just about anything that is resellable, including if you got a car or a boat, a RV, and you want to donate it. It's all tax deductible as long as you have a clean title to it. We will take it off your hands. We have volunteers who will fix them up if they are in need of work, and then we sell them, and that money goes to take care of the animals at the shelter, and we give you a nice letter for the tax man.
That's right. We just had GI Tax on a few weeks ago, giving tips on taxes, and this is another good one. Charity.
Absolutely.
You get a nice receipt from that. Those are some wonderful things that you can do to get involved. Any other tips besides donating on the website, going to your events, going to the thrift shop, anything else that might be a great tip for someone if they want to get involved somehow, but perhaps they don't have a lot of money to donate, but besides their time, what else can they do?
Oh, absolutely. If they're cleaning out their closets and they're having a garage sale and they don't want their neighbors to know the ratty sheets or towels they have, bag them up and bring them to us because our dogs and cats don't care. Every day they need clean sheets and bedding. Also, your toilet paper roll left over, on your paper towel roll left over, the brown ring that you throw in the trash.
For? Toys?
We use them. We have small critters. We have rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, gerbils. They're chewing on it. We get birds in, and they, everybody wants to gnaw on something. So we make toys out of them, and it's a very inexpensive way. So people who have no budget, they can still contribute and help.
That's wonderful. If you've got any kind of an animal, how about big animals, horses? Do you have a place that you can, a ranch? I know there's a ranch across the street from Cox Road, but.
Well, we do have a barn out back. It hasn't seen it. Well, it had 4 horses out there last year, but we found them all at home.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But yeah, we pretty much take in whatever we can.
I appreciate you joining me today as we've been listening to Teresa Clifton, the Executive Director of Brevard I can't even talk tonight. BrevardHumaneSociety.com or .org. Go there, check it out, donate, get involved, go to the functions, enjoy your pet, give your pet a big hug, and it's all about we're just trying to spread the love here, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Jean Newell with Waterview Realty. Go to our website at yourhometownsolutions.com where we keep all of the archives and you can find out more about the Humane Society. Thanks, everyone.